When we think of the brand Prada, what comes to mind? Style, luxury, success. But behind the scenes of the Asian entertainment industry, especially among idols, actors, and celebrities, there's a much darker theory, the so-called Prada Curse. According to this theory, artists who become official faces of the brand or strongly associate themselves with it end up facing some kind of serious scandal shortly afterward, as if wearing Prada were the beginning of an inevitable downfall. The idea has become so widespread that nowadays, when a celebrity is announced as Prada's newest ambassador, fans on Twitter are already commenting, "Uh-oh, here comes trouble," and it's not without reason. There are numerous cases of artists who, after linking themselves to the brand, saw their careers crumble within months. And we're not talking about minor controversies. We're talking about accusations of infidelity, prostitution scandals, tax evasion, bad behavior, and highly controversial relationships. Of course, officially, the brand has nothing to do with it. Prada remains powerful, launching successful collections and maintaining global influence. But within the Asian entertainment scene, this strange pattern of scandals involving its ambassadors has become an urban legend that's nearly impossible to ignore. Is it real? Just coincidence? Or could the pressure of becoming the face of such a global and elite brand end up revealing the worst side of these celebrities? There's no way to be certain. But one thing is clear. In recent years, the pattern has repeated so often that the theory has gained momentum. Both fans and entertainment journalists have started watching Prada's new contract announcements, already expecting the inevitable scandal. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. I've selected 5 shocking cases, from cheating to jail time, of Asian artists who were allegedly struck by this curse after associating with the brand. Get ready, because these stories are anything but light. And at the end, we'll reflect together. Is it all just coincidence? Or is something stranger happening behind the curtains of fame? Let's start our list with a case that took many by surprise. Mei Nagano, one of Japan's most promising actresses, also ended up on Prada's cursed list, and in a very complicated way. Mei Nagano was known for her sweet, innocent image, practically the embodiment of the purity ideal that's so highly valued in Asian entertainment. She had built a solid career precisely by projecting this image of perfection to the public. And of course, she was a natural choice for major brand campaigns, including Prada, but it was precisely at that moment that things began to fall apart. Shortly after her association with the brand, heavy rumors began to surface, alleged relationships with married men, and simultaneous involvement with other celebrities. Speculation suggested that Nagano was seeing a married man while also secretly dating a Korean actor. On one hand, nothing was officially confirmed. On the other, the rumors gained enough traction to damage the carefully crafted image she had built over the years. In Japan, where public reputation is taken extremely seriously, even a simple rumor can destroy a career. And that's exactly what started to happen. TV shows began speculating about the actress's behavior. Headlines hinted that her perfect image was nothing but marketing, and public opinion quickly shifted. Overnight, Nagano went from being Japan's sweetheart to an actress under suspicion, with her name being avoided in new contracts and future projects. What's most curious is that, even without solid proof, the connection to Prada became inevitable in the public's mind. After all, it was yet another case of a celebrity who, after stepping into the luxurious world of the brand, saw her life spiral out of control. And her situation left a harsh lesson for many. In the Asian entertainment industry, being talented isn't enough. You must appear flawless at all times. One misstep, even one based on rumors, can cost you everything. Mei Nagano still tries to remain active in the industry, but the glow of her golden era has never quite returned. And all of this only reinforced the so-called Prada Curse, leaving fans increasingly wary every time a new celebrity is announced as a brand ambassador. Now it's time for a story that shook the entire K-pop world. Irene from Red Velvet, one of the most famous and influential idols of her generation, also ended up on the list of celebrities supposedly affected by the Prada Curse. When Irene was announced as one of Prada's ambassadors, it seemed like a perfect match. She was already considered a style icon, adored not only by K-pop fans, but also by the fashion industry. Representing a luxury brand like Prada seemed like the natural next step in her flourishing career. But barely had the partnership been officially announced when a bombshell hit, shocking everyone following her journey. A renowned Korean stylist took to social media to post a scathing message, accusing a female celebrity of being extremely rude, abusive, and humiliating during a job. Although the stylist didn't initially name names, the internet quickly connected the dots. Hours later, Irene herself came forward, admitting the message was about her, and issued a formal apology. The reaction was immediate. Within days, Irene, who had always maintained an image of elegance and perfection, became the target of harsh criticism. Brands began to cut ties. TV shows erased episodes. Public opinion in South Korea, which is notoriously volatile, completely turned against her. From luxury ambassador, Irene became the symbol of toxic behavior. Just like that. The most surprising part? The scandal didn't involve crime or major legal wrongdoing. It was was purely about her attitude, and yet, the damage was massive. This shows that in Korean entertainment, you don't need to break the law to have your career shattered. Sometimes, a single moment of arrogance or poor behavior is enough to destroy a reputation built over years. And guess what people started saying? Once again, the Prada Curse was mentioned. After all, Irene had barely signed on as the brand's face when her career suddenly seemed to collapse. Coincidence? Maybe. But to the public, the pattern looked stronger than ever. And while Irene still has loyal fans and is gradually rebuilding her image, she never quite returned to that pedestal of blind adoration she once stood on. And if you thought you'd already seen enough scandal, that's only because we haven't gotten to the case of Shuang yet. This story was so intense that it didn't just destroy a successful career, it even turned into a public policy debate in China. And of course, it further cemented the myth of the infamous Prada Curse. Shuang was a massive star in Asia. Known for her angelic face and roles in hit dramas, she had also been seen wearing Prada and was associated with the brand at various fashion events. Everything seemed perfect, until out of nowhere, her image collapsed in a way no one could have predicted. The first major blow came when it was revealed that Shuang had hired a surrogate in the United States to have 2 children. But the scandal didn't stop there. The real issue was that after breaking up with the partner she made the arrangement with, she attempted to abandon the children, refusing to take custody or any responsibility for them. This revelation caused massive public outrage. In China, where surrogacy is a highly sensitive topic and often illegal, her actions were seen as immoral, irresponsible, and completely unacceptable for a public figure. But the already serious situation got even worse. Soon after the surrogacy scandal, Shuang was accused of tax evasion on a multi-million-dollar scale involving contracts for dramas and advertisements. She had allegedly used ghost contracts to hide the actual amount she was paid, drastically reducing the taxes she owed. The result? Enormous fines, the cancellation of all sponsorships, her dramas shelved, and her name completely erased from official media. Shuang's downfall was so brutal that within just a few months, she went from being one of Asia's most beloved actresses to a virtually banned public figure. And yes, fans and gossip sites didn't waste time pointing out the obvious. Yet another celebrity associated with Prada swallowed by a scandal of massive proportions. This case shows that sometimes the curse looks more like a coincidence tied to the level of fame, when someone becomes so big that even a single mistake can be fatal. Or worse, they start to believe they're untouchable. Shuang believed she could handle her personal and financial issues quietly. In the end, she became the most extreme recent example of how everything can collapse all at once. The case of Soo-hyun is undoubtedly one of the most delicate and heartbreaking on this list. And once again, it didn't escape association with the so-called Prada Curse. Soo-hyun had always maintained an impeccable career, talented, respected, and with a spotless public image. He was the kind of celebrity who seemed scandal-proof. Naturally, his involvement with Prada only helped cement his status as a global star, but in 2025, everything changed, suddenly and brutally. After the tragic death of actress Kim Se-ron, rumors began circulating that Soo-hyun had secretly dated her in the past. The issue wasn't just the alleged relationship itself, but the timing and the heavy emotional atmosphere in which the information emerged. With Kim Se-ron already deceased, there was no way to confirm or clarify anything. And as always, the internet showed no mercy. Theories exploded across social media. Speculation about secret meetings, emotional baggage, and even suggestions that he had a negative influence on her life. To make things worse, some sources claimed that the relationship took place during a particularly troubled time in Kim Se-ron's life, raising ethical questions and throwing even more dirt on Kim Soo-hyun's reputation. Even without any concrete proof, the actor was dragged into a media storm. The fallout was so severe that strong rumors began circulating that Prada and other brands had started to quietly distance themselves from him, freezing ad campaigns and delaying projects that had once been considered guaranteed. And the cruelest part of it all is that in this case, a mere rumor was enough to shatter public trust. Kim Soo-hyun, once seen as one of the greatest actors of his generation, now faces a fractured fan base and a tarnished image that may take years, or perhaps never, fully to recover. Now we reach one of the most shocking cases on the entire list. And if there was still any doubt about the power of the so-called Prada Curse, the case of Li Yifeng convinced many people that coincidence simply no longer explains what's going on. Li Yifeng was one of the most popular Chinese actors of his generation. Handsome, charismatic, with a solid career in both dramas and films. He was a favorite among luxury brands, including, of course, Prada, with whom he had a strong partnership across events and ad campaigns. But in 2022, everything began to unravel in a truly devastating way. Li Yifeng was detained by Chinese authorities, accused of soliciting prostitution services. The news exploded like a bomb across Asian media. This wasn't a rumor or some backstage gossip. It was a confirmed police case. And for a public figure in China where the government demands impeccable conduct from entertainers, being involved in a scandal of this magnitude is practically a career death sentence. Within days, all of Li Yifeng's contracts were canceled. Brands like Prada, Bulgari, and many others immediately severed ties with him. Dramas he had already filmed were shelved or had his scenes digitally removed. His name was erased from official websites, awards shows, and even government-controlled search engines began limiting results about him. The fall was so fast and so brutal it felt like something out of a movie. One of the most trusted faces in the Chinese entertainment industry was completely wiped off the map, and for many, it was yet another perfect example of the curse that seemed to follow every big name tied to Prada. Li Yifeng's case is one of the most clear-cut on this list. There were no rumors, no hints, no gray areas. It was a confirmed scandal, verified detention, and irreversible consequences. And now I want to hear from you. Do you think the Prada curse is real, or is it all just coincidence? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's coming next.